Ruby was a small but mighty hummingbird who loved to fly between the flowers in search of nectar. She was quick and agile, and her wings beat so fast they were almost a blur. But despite her size, Ruby had a big heart, and she was always willing to help her fellow birds whenever she could. One summer, the jungle where Ruby lived was hit by a severe drought. The sun beat down relentlessly, and the leaves on the trees began to wither and die. The animals and birds who lived in the jungle were struggling to find enough food and water, and tensions were running high. Ruby realized that something had to be done to help the community. She decided to take it upon herself to find a source of water, so that everyone could drink and survive. She flew higher and higher up the mountain, searching for a stream or a spring. But the higher she went, the hotter and drier it became. After hours of flying, Ruby was exhausted and thirsty. She felt like giving up, but then she thought about her friends in the jungle, who were counting on her to find water. So she pushed herself to keep going, even though her wings were aching and her throat was parched. Finally, Ruby spotted a small spring hidden away in a rocky crevice. She drank her fill and then filled her beak with water to bring back to the jungle. But as she was flying back, disaster struck. A gust of wind knocked Ruby off course, and she crashed into a tree, spilling all the water she had collected. Ruby was devastated. She had come so far and worked so hard, only to fail at the last moment. She felt like giving up, but then she thought about her friends in the jungle, who were still in desperate need of water. She knew that she had to try again. So Ruby flew back up the mountain, determined to find another source of water. This time, she took a different route, flying around the mountain instead of over it. She spotted a river flowing through a narrow canyon, and she knew that she had found what she was looking for. But the river was guarded by a fierce hawk, who swooped down to attack Ruby as soon as she got close. Ruby was small and vulnerable, and the hawk was big and powerful. But Ruby was also quick and agile, and she was able to dodge the hawk's attacks and slip past him to the river. Ruby filled her beak with water and then flew back to the jungle as fast as she could. She was tired and battered, but she was also proud and happy. She had accomplished what she had set out to do, and she had proven to herself that she was capable of great things. As soon as Ruby arrived back in the jungle, she shared the water with her friends. They drank deeply and gratefully, and they praised Ruby for her courage and determination. Over time, Ruby became known as a hero in the jungle, always willing to go the extra mile to help others in need. But even though Ruby had achieved her goal, she knew that there were still challenges to face. The drought was still raging, and the jungle was still struggling to survive. Ruby realized that she needed to do more to help her community, so she began to organize a system for collecting and distributing water. She recruited other birds to help her, and together they built a network of water stations throughout the jungle. They worked tirelessly, carrying water from the river to the stations and then distributing it to those in need. Ruby learned many lessons during her journey. She learned the importance of perseverance, even when things seemed impossible. She learned that sometimes, you have to take a different route to reach your destination. She learned the value of kindness and compassion, and how helping others can make you feel stronger and more capable. As the days passed, the jungle slowly began to recover. The trees and plants began to bloom again, and the animals and birds began to thrive. Ruby knew that there was still much work to be done, but she also knew that together, they could overcome any obstacle. One day, as Ruby was flying over the jungle, she saw something that made her heart soar. A group of baby birds were playing in a puddle of water, splashing and chirping with joy. They were healthy and happy, thanks to the efforts of Ruby and her friends. Ruby felt a deep sense of pride and satisfaction. She knew that she had played a small but important role in making their lives better. And she knew that she would continue to do so, as long as there were birds in need. From that day forward, Ruby became a symbol of hope and perseverance in the jungle. Her story spread far and wide, inspiring birds and animals everywhere to work together for the greater good. And although there were still challenges and setbacks along the way, Ruby knew that she had the strength and the courage to overcome them, one wing beat at a time.